Hey everyone, thank you so much for tuning into my channel. I'm Lisa Marie and you've just tuned into Bank Life. Now, if this is your first time tuning into my channel, hey, go ahead and hit like, go ahead and subscribe, and go ahead and leave a comment. Now, if this is your first time tuning in, hey, welcome to my channel. All right, we're going to get right to the video and let's go.
For this the most are the children. But y'all check this out. We'll come back and talk about it.
And it's a lot of good dads out here that's never gonna get custody of kids, right? And a lot of men are gonna grow up, young black men gonna grow up and be like, dang, like why my dad ain't never, I ain't never get to stay with my dad. I ain't never do this, I ain't never do that. And I tell this story, right? I was 30 years old when I visited my dad's house for the first time in my life.
Now that's crazy.
Right? And the reason why that is because my brother died. And all these years, for 30 years, I was always mad at my dad because I was like, man, he ain't never want me to come to his house. He ain't never want me to come play with my siblings. He would never let me stay with him for the summers and stuff. Whole time, when my brother died, I found out that it was never my dad. It was my mom. And then later, my mom admitted that it was, she didn't want to have to give up child support and custody of me. That's crazy, right?
That is crazy.
Okay, so he's saying that he was made to believe that his dad pretty much just moved on, didn't let him come over the house, didn't let him play with his other siblings. And he pretty much believed that growing up, believing that his father was a deadbeat dad. And it's all because his mom, he found out later, did not want to lose the child support money or to lose custody of him. Wow. That is messed up.
But there are so many other reasons why they do that. Some women do it because they can't have the man. Some women do it just to make his life miserable. There are plenty of reasons why women would do this to a man, and that sucks. And I'm only talking about the fathers who want to be in their child's life. The men who have been reaching out trying to get their kids. Because you're doing this based on how you feel or what you're going through, and you're not thinking about that child.
So, okay, so now you hear the narrator saying, listen, some women do it because they pretty much want to have the man. Now that could be true in some cases. Now, in this case, we see it to be true.
He's 30 years old and he's just finding out his father was never the deadbeat that he thought he was. He really wanted him around. Like he said, he wasn't able to grow up with his siblings. He probably don't even really know him like that because of the way the mother set that situation up. And it's just crazy to me that a person can think this way when it comes to a child, because I can't fathom that. Once you have a child, you put all your feelings and your emotions aside to do what's best for that child. But in some of these situations, they're not doing that. But this is something that has to stop. Both parents deserve the chance to be around that child.
I agree. Both parents deserves the chance to be around the child, and it shouldn't be done because, hey, I want the child support money. Yes, you deserve. Don't get me wrong. You deserve the child support money. If that is your right. If the father's not helping out, you try to me, I always say, try to work out something with the dad. If you're not able to, and then second, you go for child support, right? I don't think the first thing is, let me just put him on child support. No, you try to work out an arrangement on your own. See if y'all can come to some understanding on how y'all can raise the child together, because y'all really need to work together and to communicate and do what's best for the child. Then, if you're not able to get it through the regular means, then you have to go to child support. But telling the child your father's a deadbeat so you can keep the child support money just to make sure he doesn't go for custody, to me, that's fear. That individual, that mother, is dealing with fear, because that's a fear. So sometimes it may not even be money, all about the money, as as much as it is, I'm afraid that if I allow my child to go too much around the dad, that him and his new wife, or him and the woman he's with, will then go for custody. But then I would have to speak to the father, because I believe that you must do what's best for the child. Now, if you in your heart know that the best thing for the child is to be with the mother, leave that child with the mother. If you know you're going to be working 50 hours a week and the mom is home, let the mother leave the child with the mother. Do what's best for the child. And same thing, if the mother knows that you're just going to be complaining and you look just like your father and you ain't no good and he wasn't no good, and you begin to curse the whole generation, leave the child with the father. But definitely, I don't believe in speaking. I don't believe men or women should speak ill of the other partner in front of the child. Let's go.
Regardless of what you guys are going through, if you guys are fighting, bickering, whatever, both parents deserve a chance to be around that child. You shouldn't use that child as a pawn in the game you're playing with each other. Women out there keeping the kid from their father until he up his child support. This is crazy to me. And to you people out there who are doing that, this is what's going to happen. Your child is going to grow up and he's going to find out the truth and he's going to resent you. And then you're going to be sitting here looking crazy because after all these years, your child now going to be looking at you sideways.
That is true, because a child will begin to look at you sideways and they will mistrust everything you ever told them. Everything, because now I got to look at you differently. You lied to me all these years. What else was a lie? That's exactly how the child's going to, either side. If you lie about the mother and say all this and she ain't no good and then the child finds out that the dad was lying, same thing. He gonna look at you sideways like, this dude right here, or my mom shouldn't have did that, and it should never come to that. Both of you should be working out what's best for the child. We're going to repeat.
And it's a lot of good dads out here that's never gonna get custody of kids, right? And a lot of men are gonna grow up. Young black men gonna grow up and be like, dang, like why my dad ain't never, I ain't never get to stay with my dad. I ain't never do this. I ain't never do that. And I tell this story, right? I was 30 years old when I visited my dad's house for the first time in my life, right?
Now, if you have a child and you know that your child has not been going to see the father regularly, this video hopefully will encourage you to let the child go see the father. You still could keep your child support, but let the child begin to know who their father. Let them see for themselves who their father. You say, oh, well, this and that, but let them see. Now pray about it first. We don't want them going over to father house and they dealing with all type of chaos in that home. Know where you're sending your child. It is your responsibility to know who's going to be in that household when you send them.
And the reason why that is because my brother died. And all these years, for 30 years, I was always mad at my dad because I was like, man, he ain't never want me to come to his house. He ain't never want me to come play with my siblings. He would never let me stay with him for the summers and stuff. Whole time.
And he didn't let him come for the summers. I missed that. So not only for the summer, but not even for the summer. So in the summertime, he's like, hey, I want to go stay by my dad. Maybe he want to play baseball. Maybe he want to play basketball with his father. Can't do that because he's been kept away.
When my brother died, I found out that it was never my dad. It was my mom. And then later, my mom admitted that it was, she didn't want to have to give up child support and custody of me.
All right. So it's because the woman. So, if you have a child and you say, you know what, I am fearful, and you can admit, say, you know what, I am fearful. Pray on it. You're fearful. You say, you know what, because I don't really want to deal with the child, the whole custody issue. Are you thinking, maybe the father's going to pull custody, or has been speaking about pulling custody. Everything should be done with the child in mind. If you know that if the father know that the child's staying with them, again, they doing a lot of hours, there's no way you should be trying to fight for custody if you're not even going to be in your child's life. Leave the child with the mothers. All of this fighting back and forth for what? You are shaping this child. You are shaping this child. So y'all should be trying to get along as much as you can, as best as you can, for the child's sake. Because that's a part of you. That's your generation right there. Especially the men. You got a boy, that's your seed right there. You got a daughter, she carries your name. Come on. You sign in, and you, especially if you took the DNA test and you went through so much things, and that child is yours, you should be thinking of what is best for this particular child. If I take this child, can I spend time with this particular child? Can I invest? Have I been investing? If you're listening to this video and you haven't spoken to your child in a while, give your child a call. See how your child is doing. On Saturday, take the child out. Go to the movies. Go to the park with your child. If you don't have any money, you could take the child to the park. It's free. And she said, hey, listen, it was me. I was the one keeping, because I was afraid. I was fearful of custody, and I wanted to keep the money. She owned up. She said, listen, I wanted the child. I wanted to be able to take care of you. I wanted the child support to come in, or maybe she not working. She wanted to help herself out too. And I didn't want him to pull custody. I was afraid to lose you. But you could be, how many you could be afraid to lose, but you ain't got, he should never feel like his father didn't want to spend time with him. That's that rejection. That's that abandonment issue. Should have never felt that, because she should have made sure and said, no, your father loves you. I'm not saying she should have made up a better lie than that, but for him to think his father was a deadbeat is wrong. No good, wrong. She said, no, your father's a good man. Especially if the father is a good man. You got to start telling the kids the truth. Now, if they're 12 years old, 14 years old, and they can see, hey, my dad ain't come to get me, and they act and they're speaking to their dad, and the dad is the one not showing up. You're there to pick up the pieces. Fine, but they can see for themselves. But for you to keep them directly away from the father, and the father has no say so, they don't know if it's true, and then you got men that's 30 years old just finding out everything that they were told about their dad was a lie. That's a hurtful thing. Now he might have a mistrust of women. Who knows? Intimacy issues, forming relationship issues. That would be understandable based on the circumstances. Well, they say when we know better, we do better. So this is the video where we're knowing better, we're doing better. Don't, you might be angry, you might be upset, but don't use the child as a pawn. And I know a lot of women don't use the child as a pawn. Maybe there are more women that don't use it, but they're going to always be some that will, right? So, but if you find yourself being vindictive and being angry, and deal with your issues so that you don't have to use your child as a pawn. Move on. Sometimes you got to move on. You got to pray that God will help you move on and let things go, and let go of anger and unforgiveness and all that other stuff, so that you can grow. And who knows, hey, a better man might be right or wrong, because again, there might be somebody else out there that you think he's the best, but he may not be, and you might think she's the best, and she may not be the best for you, or the best, you know what I mean? Because it's really what's best for you according to your personality, according to how you operate. All right, well, I'm Lisa Marie. I approve this message. Go ahead and leave a comment. Go ahead and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.